just making a quick trip to the tyre place to get some tyres done. They've been horrible. They've been going down. They've been wobbling like crazy. Lots of vibrations. So 4 new tyres on GT. Right, 4 new tyres on the car. So went for the relatively cheap Fronway, whatever they are. It just gets it out of. It gets the car working well. Right, okay. Alignment next. So I've had to do a voiceover on this video due to the noises inside the Quick Fit garage. Lots of air impact guns and people talking and so on. So what we've got is the car is up on the ramp. They've attached the measuring devices to each of the wheels, and they're going to be undoing the nuts on the track rod ends and adjusting. And actually that's what's happening here right now. As you can see, he's moving it across the driver's side wheel in, and again that will adjust the toe and the steer ahead as it's doing so, and then he's then going to go over to the other side, the left hand side of the car, the passenger side, and start adjusting that. And there we go, he's actually starting to do that on this one, and as it pulls it in, it adjusts the toe and the steering angles, and suddenly everything all goes green, which looks pretty good. It took quite a while for this get the car sorted, so I'm pleased. It was about an hour more than expected, and again here is just basically doing the nuts up on the track rod ends, the tie rods, and just getting it, settling it in, and then the car was absolutely fine afterwards.
So I'm back at Quick Fit. When I was driving it down the motorway and on the roads after alignment, the steering wasn't aligned, so I brought it back and they're going to have to do it for me now. So it was if you put the steering straight, it went to the left, but if you let it go over the steering, it drove straight, so it was just steering wheel not aligned.
So I'm back home now, and I've done the wheels. So I've got replacement wheels, tyres on there. They're called Fronway, basically ditch finders. But yeah, they'll do. They'll keep the car safe and rolling. It's a lot better, a lot smoother. Next is the windscreen wiper cover on for here. Now this is a Ford C-Max left-hand drive cover. I think they used it on the Ford C-Max, but it was originally I think a Renault did a part, but it actually has got. It's made by Bosch, so I think Ford and Renault just basically use parts from Bosch. So yeah, it's like 15 quid, so, and that will go on there. Got issues with the clips at the top here, which hook into there, so I've got to try and sort that out, but then you've got the 2 clips right at the back, if you can see it right at the back there. So it's easier sometimes to actually take the windscreen wiper off, take the 2 30mm bolts out, and then take that off to fit it. Sometimes you can get it on, sometimes not, but I'm going to play it safe. I don't want to break this, and so yeah, we'll get that on. So I've taken the wiper mechanism off. When it's like this, the gap here is quite large, but when it's actually on the windscreen, it actually closes that gap up. So what you want to do is get the 2 little tangs inside that gap there, like that. Yeah, come on, there we go. So it holds it on the front, and then do the back ones, and they can be a bit fiddly as well. So I'm just going to do that right now. So that's on now, and yep, the 2 clips on the back there are in. The ones are on the front are in. So I'm just now going to put this back together again. So the windscreen wiper cap is on. I'm just going to test it out right now. That looks a hell of a lot better, doesn't it? Really does. So yeah, it seems to be working. It's wiping a lot better. I don't have the great big chunk which isn't done down here because they put the wrong size wipers on. All looks good. Yeah. Had the steering realigned. It took 2 attempts. They got the steering wheel in the wrong position. But they also said that one of the wishbones there, the actual the wishbone rubbers are very soft and there's a lot of movement in the wishbone. So I'm going to order 2 new wishbones for this. I'm not going to do the whole lot in one go. I've actually been looking underneath, and let me just get you close and let me sit on this sit on this tyre. Underneath here isn't that bad. Okay, so we've got some of the paint that's worn off, but there's no rust. And even on the subframe, okay, there's dirt, but there's no rust. It's not bad. It's not bad. These are rotten. These suspension struts are rotten, so I'll get a completely brand new set of those. I've pulled this off, which is the rust trap on Twingos, or it's actually a mud trap, and that's not too bad. I'm going to flush it out, and let's see whether I can actually. Yeah, I'm going to flush it out so it doesn't actually hold moisture in there. But yeah, it isn't too bad in here. It's got new discs. It's driving much better. Yeah, there might be a little bit of rust up there, but I don't think it's bad actually. I will have a look at that later on, that hole there and around there. The inside of here needs washing off. It's been used in a muddy environment, but not for long. The car would have rotted out way faster. So yeah, so we've got some flaking stuff there I need to attend to and have a look at, but yeah, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. Let's hope the other side is as good as this. It's definitely better than that Peugeot, which is still currently at the garage having the welding and God knows what else done to it. So yeah, okay, let me pull out all that crap and then flush that through, and then we'll do the other side. So using the hose down here, I've pretty much flushed out all of the crap down in there, and it's all looking quite reasonable down there. I am a little concerned there might be a little bit of, let's see whether I can get this thing to zoom, there might be a little bit of rust forming there underneath the paint, but I'll look at it later. But yeah, so that's looking all good up there. So that side is done. So let's do the other side. It's got to put the wheel back on and so forth. I might give the chassis, the subframe, just a quick wash down while I'm here. Just some of this dirt, but yeah, I don't need to go behind there. That's absolutely fine. So yeah, that's that side done. So that's good news on that side. So this side looks okay as well. It's a bit dusty and a bit grubby. I can see the bushings down here and they are looking cracked. So yeah, those wishbones need replacing, definitely. Behind here, it's a bit more than the other side. But yeah, you can actually see the striations in the actual earth over the years. You can probably actually date it as well. But yeah, you just clear this out and that stops it from rotting. It's going to be damp in there. It's definitely going to be damp at the bottom of it, so they never dry out and it just rusts the car out. So yeah, check your wheel arch liners, Twingo people. This is definitely an easy job to do as well. Let's get this cleared out. Okay, so the car's wet, I'm wet, my trainers are wet, everything's wet, but we do have a completely clear sill down there. And you can even see through it as well, which is really good. Up there looks all fine. Again, all of this brown stuff is just dirt. It's just grime. So I'm going to, at some point, give it a really good wash. I don't know what that's about, but I'm not going to touch it. Somebody's put some silicone sealant in there, and that goes in through to the passenger footwell. So it's possible there might have been a leak, and they've actually put something in there. I've got rubber grommets, so I can replace that with a rubber grommet. The chassis is, the subframe is in, again, it's good, it's not rusted. It's got surface rust, but not rusted. Underneath, all looks okay. So yeah, it's not too bad. The intercooler looks like it needs a flush out of the fins. This isn't rust, this is just dirt, and behind it is looks like just it needs painting. So the silver paint has rubbed off, and we've just down to the primer. So again, once I've cleaned this all off, I'll give this all a good clean up. The suspension on this side is junk.
So it just all needs replacing. It's rotted to hell. I might ask Lee Saunders to actually, if I get the parts, and he'll do them. I'm not sure, because if these are bad as what they look, then I'm going to disable the car trying to get this here. So yeah, out of as I said, I'm doing this on a driveway. I'm not set up for this, so some of this I might do. Certainly the wishbones, I think I can get to the other side of that bolt, or the bolts on those two sides. So it'll be interesting to see whether I can do that. So yeah, it's not too bad. Up into the up there, that's not rust, that's mud. It's just muddy. It's been used in a muddy environment at some point in its life, and not too long ago either. It's, I'd say, in the past couple of years. So yeah, this cross member, or this sub thing down here, which holds, where does that go down to? Yeah, that goes down to there. That needs taking off and cleaning up. But yeah, it's not too bad. Not too bad. Oh, there we go. Better than I thought. I thought this was going to be a bit rusty, actually. From when I looked underneath there, I thought, oh, okay, well, we'll take a chance. But yeah, that's not too bad. It's a 16-year-old car. Most 16-year-old Japanese cars are already rusting like crazy underneath here, and certainly Peugeot. That Peugeot, which is now what, 22 years old, is rusty as hell in places. So, and it's had to have welding. So yeah, it really isn't that bad. Difficult to get the angles right on this to show you. So yeah, it's better than I thought. So underneath here, it's a little worse than it was. Now, before I did this video, a few days ago, I actually got the jet wash out, and I jet washed as much of the fuel around the fuel pipes. As you can see, we've got thick layers of mud just coming off, and this was completely caked. So yeah, there we go. So this all needs a flush out, and basically the earth and the crap gets behind there, then it will rot out. This is exactly, there we go, this is exactly the place on the Mark 1 Twingo where you get the rust traps and the dirt trap and the rust, and many Mark 1 Twingos have rusted out in this area. So yeah, it's a known problem. If you don't get to it, you will end up with a rusty car. So yeah, it's not too bad. Again, there's great big lumps of dust and crap on this, but it's not too bad. It's just basically caked. Needs new dampers, new springs. Yeah, the rear trailing arm is a bit rusty, but that's fine. There might be a bit of rust there. Yeah, you can see a little bit just on that. So yeah, so this is a real problem for Twingos. So if you do have a Twingo, get the wheel off and get in here and flush the whole thing out. Sorry, my camera keeps on changing light levels. So yeah, you've got to get right into the back and right at the top there, as you can see. There we go. It gets really rusty up there again. Well, not rusty, but really muddy, and then it promotes the rust. So, right, let's get this done.
So much later that the old narrator got tired of waiting and they had to hire a new one.
All I can say is, wow, that was bad. This is just a small amount. This is the big chunks that didn't get washed away. My drive is literally just covered in mud right now. Yeah, I've got a light. Let's see whether we can see it. So right behind the fuel filler was completely caked in mud, and it looks like the screws that actually hold everything together have rusted out, but the car hasn't actually. There's still, yeah, look, there's still a bit of mud up there. I might get that in a minute. But yeah, all down, can you see down there, that was completely caked in mud. The rear mount looks rusty. I'm going to have to do something about that, either get a new rear mount or something, but we're going to have to do something with that. The actual car doesn't look like it's rust, but this is all down to mud. Yeah, so we've got a bit of rust on the bolt which actually holds the fuel filler pipes, but all down in that gap right behind that big one. Let's see whether I can do this. So all down here was absolutely caked in mud, and behind here was here, literally there was no gap, it was just mud. So yeah, there's a little bit of rust around here. I can see a little bit just there around that, so hang on. So there's a little bit of rust here, and I'm completely not surprised because it was completely caked. So we're going to have to address that and see what goes on with that. What I will do is take this entire whole unit out, this whole fuel filler thing out, and we can attack it and have a look. I think I've caught it just in time. The only thing that worries me is that, which is the rear arm mount. Yeah, it's looking a little bit, you see it? Yeah, it's looking a little bit rusty, so that will need to be replaced. That was just messy. Now I'm going to turn the camera around and show you what state I'm in. Right, I am absolutely covered. I'm absolutely covered in mud and crap, and it just blew back at me. It blew back at me. Yeah, look, we've got silt. This is what came out. Yeah, look. It's just, yeah, it's like a beach in there. It really was. It was bad. This is the worst one I've ever seen on a Twingo. I do think that this car was used in some muddy environment or a track for a while. But yeah, and again, there's still mud on parts of the chassis, and again, but I've managed to clean most of it off. A jet wash will do it, but I don't want a jet wash because I don't want to blow the sealant, you know, the under seal and all of that just yet. I maybe get a brush and lightly brush it off. I think the rear trailing arm looks quite rusty on this side. So yeah, I think my brakes are also going to be a bit rusty as well, so I think I need to get that done. Back here again, let's just turn that round. As you can see, there's still mud there. There's still mud. So yeah, if you've got a Twingo, for God's sake, check this. And it goes back quite a way. I can get my entire hand right behind that fuel filler. It goes on a fair old way, and that was full, absolutely full. So I am going to attack this again at some point, and I'm going to take that off and clean it all up and clean it out. There's quite a few Mark 1s out there, Mark 1 Twingos with heavy corrosion all around this area, and it is literally just that. I also noticed just here we've got a bit of rust forming on the edges, so I think we got this just in time. I think so. I hope so. We can get it welded, but hopefully I can clean it all up and we'll be good. So okay, I need to somehow clear up all this mud and put the wheel back on. I haven't even done the thermostat housing yet. We've still got a coolant leak and an oil leak. God, I will buy these things. I will buy these cars. Right, okay, let's get this all tidied up. My drive looks awful. Well, that has to be one of the worst mud traps I've done in a car in many a year. That was bad. I've managed to clean most of my drive up. But yeah, that was bad. Still absolutely covered in mud, actually, down there underneath the RS. So yeah, that's amazing how much mud you can get out of a small space on that, but there's also quite a large void in there. So yeah, get in there and pull it out. There's far more in there than you realise. So I'm just going to put the cap back on, and I'm going to take it for a drive. I'm currently down to probably about 1.5 litres in there. I'm currently running it out. I've got a 5 litre can of fuel in there. I think it's on 40 miles or something like that. So I'm very close to running this out to see how far the reserve goes. It's I do this to all my cars, so it's going to be interesting to see how far it goes. So yeah, I'm going to clean up this drive later on. Right, let's get changed out of this wet clothes. I am absolutely covered. Absolutely, this is all going in the wash. I think even the trainers might go in the wash.
Okay, so the car ran out at 50.6 miles on the reserve. So time to break out the 5-litre can. This is how far the car goes on its reserve. So it's different from the RS, that's about 34 miles. This is 50, it's about right. Right, thanks for watching. See you on the next video.